As if this winter break wasn't bad enough, Newcastle fans. I don't like doing transfer videos, but it seems like on top of having to spend the weekend clearing out old clothes for the charity shop, scrubbing toilets, and doing all them odds and sods jobs that I've put off for ages, it looks like there might be some interest from one of the biggest teams in Europe in one of our best players. Yes, the first bit of concrete transfer news looks like it's filtering through. And I'll be totally honest with you, it's like someone's got a frozen fist and punched me in the bare ball sack. Kieran Trippier, potentially to Bayern Munich, is coming up the discussion on this video, Newcastle fans. So do us a favour and make sure you stick around. Oh, welcome back to Black White Banter, you lovely Newcastle fans. It looks like I might be posting 2 videos in a day. Who does that? God, if that doesn't tell you sum up the winter break, I don't know what will. I'll tell you what, I'm dressed up. I'm ready to go to a Coldplay tribute act. And here I am talking about this. Quite looking forward to it, actually. Why pay £150 to see the real deal when you get to see Coldplay? Some plumber who sings their songs part-time for 20 quid. Job's a good one. Won't even notice I'm not watching the real thing. But I am here for a reason. But before we get into that reason, Newcastle fans, do us a favour. Whack us that little likey, Lou. And whack that subscribe button if you like my opinion by the end of this. So I'm not someone as a YouTuber. I'll never be able to say that. As a creator of videos for Newcastle, I'm not someone who ever prides himself on doing transfer speculation, and that's essentially what this is. The only reason I'm making an exception with this is because it looks pretty concrete. So I will always jump on if something looks pretty solid. And the one thing that looks like it is solid is it at least Bayern Munich have an interest in our right back. And if you want to call him our captain, he essentially is our captain. So, look, let's dissect this as short as I can. I'm not going to dive into who said what because it looks so to and fro. Mr. Romano, who everyone says is the most reliable, he reckons that talks have already started. He reckons that the player wants the move, and it looks like Bayern Munich are deciding between him and PSG's right back, Mkule. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. But Sky Sports are saying that Newcastle have rejected their offer instantly, and that is done unless a much bigger offer comes in. So you don't know what to believe, but all we know is that they are interested. So I'll dissect a little bit of what's been speculated so far. So first and foremost, let's break this down into how this would affect us if, and I'm going to keep repeating, if we got rid of him. Massively. It does. I cannot deny it. We're a team with injuries, but not only that, we are a team whose attacking phases of play and style of play is so based around the likes of Kieran Trippier. And if you take him out of that team with all the experience he has, he's been doing it for us down that right-hand side with Miguel Almiron. Mid-season, we take him out of the team, we lose a hell of a lot. And, you know, his assists speak for themselves. He's one of the highest, well, he was one of the highest for assists in the Premier League. Him and Almiron have got such a good understanding that's been going on for 2 years now. He has an understanding with Longstaff when he plays on the right-hand side of a midfield three, so they play basically a triangle. And at corners aside, which have been pretty shit for a while, he's got a very good cross on him. And that's, you know, the numbers speak for themselves. You don't register loads of assists as a right-back unless you can whip a ball in. And he can. And we lose that. And yes, lots of Newcastle fans are going to say Livramento is better, some people have said, than Kieran Trippier. Livramento is primed to flit straight in there. I'm not denying that. Livramento is a fantastic footballer. I can easily see why £35 million has been spent on him. He's exciting. He's good going forward and carrying the ball. He's not scared to run past 1, 2, 3, as we've already seen. He looks very solid defensively. He's got a bit of pace about him, and it was a great signing. And Newcastle United's backroom staff were not stupid. They knew Kieran Trippier was of an age and he had a shelf life. But to sit there and say that Livramento slotting straight in it right back at the end of the January window is going to not affect us at all because he's just as equally good, I think is very naive. Livramento has not worked with Almiron enough. If anything, you could probably argue in training he's worked more as a left back because that's where he's been asked to play this season. Not very much at right back, so most of his training will have been done there. Eddie Howe has to get Livramento. If this happened, and this is all hypothetical, he's going to have to get him up to speed pretty quick, and him and Almiron are going to have to get a pretty solid understanding pretty quick. But leaning on from that, I just mentioned that we already knew that Trippier was of an age and we had a player primed to come into his shoes. Now, this is probably come as a bit of a surprise for the Newcastle backroom staff, in my opinion, because Bayern Munich are a very big club, and Kieran Trippier, the age he is, a lot of teams would maybe look at him as being settled. He's only been with us 2 years. First player of the Saudi era to come in. He's regularly said how happy he is with his family. So for a team playing Champions League and winning trophies, let's face it, it is Bayern Munich, to come in, I think the Newcastle board will have been like, whoa. And we need to stop panicking and getting on the back of our club. If we sell him, we're stupid. If we do this, if we do that. I don't think this loan talk that's being mooted from some quarters, I think it's a load of bollocks. I do. We have to have faith that we have got smart people running our football club, and they will only look to sell, which is the one report that I believe. We will only sell Kieran Trippier if it's a stupid offer. And I'll be totally honest with you, Newcastle fans, sentiment aside, love of the player aside, how could we turn down 20 plus million for a 33-year-old if financial fair play is screwing us up the backside as much as we are led to believe? We can't spend a penny until we sell. And yes, people are going to say, get rid of the Deadwood, the Murphys. That doesn't attract big money. I'm sorry. Yes, Murphy might be handy for us on the right-hand side of midfield. Yes, Kraft might do a job when he comes in and look pretty solid. Yes, you know, the list goes on of players that for us are quite good, but getting teams to spend 7, 8, 9, 10 million pound on these is a totally different story. If we were offered 20 plus, 20 to 30 for Kieran Trippier, that's mad money. I'm sorry, it is. He's 33, he's probably got 1 to 2 years of high-level football in him as a right-back. It's a very, very demanding position. It's not like a centre-forward where your movement can reduce and you can just be in the right place at the right time. Kieran Trippier is expected in any team he plays for to get forward, get back, get forward, get back. And that drops off. You don't hear of many fullbacks that play to the age of 38 and 39 to a very, very good standard. Jordi Alba, you could maybe argue, for Inter Miami. Bit of a farmers league. No offence to the Americans. It's unheard of, it is. And it's a lot of money. And I think the board, if all these stories are true, if Bayern Munich did come in with a big money offer, and I don't think they will. I don't think Bayern Munich are going to pay a lot of money for a 33-year-old player coming to the end of his career. But if that's where we want to stand with it, then great. I get that, and we just have to accept that sometimes models and business decisions need to be made for the better of the football club. And if you don't have faith in this ownership now, you never will. I'm sorry. I'm not saying they make right decisions all the time. We know that. You know, you only have to look at Mairdad's tweet about the atmosphere after the Chelsea game to know that we're not always perfect. But this is losing a very big player, and it's not a decision that's just met with it, yeah, let's take it. This will be discussed at some length. Now, the other side of this is that Kieran Trippier is reportedly open to the move. And that might upset some Newcastle fans, but we need to accept he's not a Newcastle fan. He loves the city, I've got no doubt. He loves the fan base. He loves the team that he pulls the shirt on for every week, but he's not a fan. He's not a supporter of Newcastle. And this is a chance for a player who hasn't won many trophies in his career. You know, winning the league with Atletico, probably is up there with some of the biggest honours he's had in his life. To be playing at Champions League level and winning trophies in the next year and a half. Bayern Munich, if I was a gambling man, will win a trophy. So, can you grumble at him too much as a Newcastle fan? I'm not sure. It's disappointing because I thought, if it's true, God, I keep saying that's why I fucking hate doing these videos, pardon the French, I do. But I have to believe that this does look pretty solid now. It's frustrating because I thought he was settled. Him and his family, I thought they were done and dusted in Newcastle and he was going to see out his career here until his performances really started to drop off. This has probably come out the boat of the blue for us, for him, for everybody involved, that a team of that stature's come in. And I genuinely don't think you can blame him. And if he doesn't want to play for this football club, Newcastle fans, there's two sides to that. Not only do I not blame him, I don't want him in my team. If there's one thing I've learned supporting this football club, and anyone watching this who's older than me might be able to testify, you do not want players out on the field who do not want to play for the club, who've got their head elsewhere. You don't. I want to play, you know, we're pretty good now. We are. We've got a massive fan base. We've got a lot of money to spend once this financial fair play levels out. We've just been in the Champions League. We've got Isak, Botman, Bruno. We want players who want to be part of this project, not ones who are already looking elsewhere. The first sniff of a Champions League side comes in for them. So Kieran Trippier, the sentimental value attached to him will always be there. He's one of the best right-backs I've ever seen in my life. And I mean that. Everyone complaining about him because he's made a couple of errors more recently. He can get in the bin as far as I'm concerned. That is football. Fickle football fans at their most awful and most ugly. He's been brilliant. He took a chance on us when no one else would when we were in the relegation zone. Apparently, if you're led to believe his interviews that he's done, he took a pay cut to do so. You know, we might have gone down that season on an awful low amount of points if Eddie Howe had not worked out, but he took the risk. And my God, did it pay off. And my God, has he been instrumental in the last 2 years. And we are getting a spell now, Newcastle fans, as upsetting as it is. And it is that we've been taken over for 2 years now. So little eras in our new project that we find ourselves will start to happen. And Kieran Trippier, mark my words, will be the first end of an era in this new project. And it's sad. Whether it's this summer, whether it's maybe next January, Kieran Trippier, you can tell he's not a player who has too much longer left in him. Not what he's expected at Newcastle, to be supporting that attack the way Eddie Howe likes to play. And Livramento is primed and ready, just knocking on that door. And that's fantastic that we've already moved to get a replacement for one of our older players. It's smart. It's smart on Dan Ashworth's part, and it's smart on this football club's part. But I'm worried. If we get rid of him mid-season, I don't want to make the ballsy statement that it's almost like saying this season's done, but it leaves us very little time to get a replacement. Livramento will offer us something down that right-hand side, but you cannot change and just go back to a style of play instantly when a new player comes in. Almiron's not familiar with him. It's a different... I think Livramento, when he goes forward, is a different player to Trippier. He's not a get it on his right foot and cross it. Livramento's the man who drives inwards. He's so different. This is not like for like. It's not. We're just getting another very, very good player in his young years who we're going to watch hopefully be the right back of Newcastle for the next 10 years, Livramento. But it weakens us. It does. And I'm worried. We've got injuries. Manquillo's just gone, so there's 2 right backs gone. Another couple of injuries. Livramento's just been ill. If he has a knock, I don't know where this leaves us. And that's why I think Newcastle have said no to this. But if stupid money comes in, how could you argue? We'd all be devastated to see him go. But we need to start making smart decisions. And sometimes smart decisions might have to overrun or prioritise over the emotions of a football fan who does not want to lose a player who feels like his time at Newcastle is too short. Wouldn't it have been nice if we got Kieran Trippier 6 years ago? We didn't. He's done a fantastic job for us, and let's see how this one pans out. If he's still with us on January the 31st, I've got no doubts about it. Anything that's been done before, mistakes, I think they'll start to go away as this Newcastle team, as I keep saying, will improve. I'm not going to talk about his private life on this video because that's all stupid speculation. Yes, something wasn't right with him before Christmas. He left the international camp. Does that play into this move? I don't know. Is he trying to get away from someone in Newcastle? I don't know. But let's just see how this one pans out. Fingers crossed he's still a Newcastle player at the end of the window. But I would like to hope that this club is smart enough and big enough now that if he goes, if there's quite a hefty little transfer fee. If Bayern Munich want to be that daft to pay big money for a 33-year-old, cheers Kieran for everything. And we'll snap that up and tap that back into that revenue number to bring some new players in, which we desperately need to freshen up this squad. Newcastle fans, let me know your thoughts on what isn't anything concrete yet. Just bids being rejected, interest from the club, the bit of interest from the player. Let me know your thoughts. Do you see this happening? Is it a load of rubbish? Do you... You know, these aren't the sort of videos I feel comfortable with. I sound like a stuck record saying that, but let me know your thoughts below, because it seems pretty obvious that Bayern Munich want to jump in and take one of Newcastle United's best players. Not the first transfer video of January that I wanted to do, but hey-ho. Anyway, I've got a concert to get to. Whack that like, whack that subscribe if you've liked this video and stuck around this long, and I'll see you on the next one with hopefully something a bit more positive to talk about.